The Todorov equilibrium model can explain the structure of the story as at the beginning of our film, there are two unknown characters talking on the phone to each other, which carries on in the film. The identities are not exploited to the audience, but as the film goes on, each character will be revealed when getting closer to the end. The disruption caused in the film occurs when the three characters are in a discrete location loading their guns. No face is shown, before pulling up in a black car within minutes, forcing themselves through the door, carrying their victim with them into the living room. The new equilibrium is possessed when the stolen items are found and in possession of the robbers, although it may not be right for the viewers as this act places them in a binary opposition. Cinematography. Just before the heist occurs, the accomplices step out of the car and we get a couple of steady shots on the tripod, panning to capture the surrounding and their movements, from the car to the car boot by using a long shot. We get a brief shot of the criminals reaching in to grab the shotgun, which is a typical crime thriller plot, which is used later on in the film to intimidate the hostage for answers of their hidden items. Most of the facial expressions used in the film were confusion, fear, and uncertainty, showed through the gang leader and the victim who got robbed. The only makeup used in the film was the fake blood used in the last scene in the excluded location. The costume used for the characters are smart, professional suit and tie, which shows the characters are organized and are on the job. We also used anonymous masks to create a more scary approach as their identities are hidden with the facial emotions, but also make the group look more like. The mise en scène. The lineup in front of the house when all three criminals were in suits have their masks on with their specific individual guns, which are the problem. This was the most significant aspect to the costume, and it was very typical of the crime genre because of all criminals look identical, not allowing any loose ends of identification. The narrative was restricted that during the film, we did not give away all the information and what is going to happen within the film. We just let the film build up to each scene, letting the viewers grasp more knowledge of the film, with the secrets to create tension and dramatic effects of shock. Characters. The gang members have the most power throughout the disruption as the victim is outnumbered, meaning the gang members are more dominant. This is shown by the way the characters are moving freely and producing their voices clearly and great body language. The dominance is also shown as they are always at a higher perspective than the victim, as they are always looking down at him, but also using aggressive and verbal abuses with threats. Their facial expressions, which are printed on the mask, give the impression of pleasure and joy as they are smiling while doing the job, which foreshadows that the criminals are not here for fun and games. At the end of the film, the typical message of karma will catch up to you. Editing. During the heist, the editing was joined together with quick and short scenes of action. The fast cuts movements reflect the way in which the job is meant to be done, quickly and swiftly. Moments later into the film, we slowed the pace down of the film by allowing longer scenes to carry out and cut down on the cutting the scene shorter to allow the audience to get a closer look on the situation and to get a better understanding. This allows us to show the audience the reason in which we use the quick cuts is within action scenes. On top of that, non-diegetic sound was added at the end of the final scene when the gun was being cocked back and the gunshot was let off on the final sound. In our film, we use non-diegetic background music to set the environment, mood, and start the pace of action, as we use the upbeat soundtrack to represent when we are entering into action. In the final scene, we used a slow, dark, build-up beat to represent the conflict and the deceit as the characters are in a dark room having a conversation, as the main character, Armani, reveals himself as the snake in the group. The soundtrack used in the background creates tension to realizations of what the group have walked into, creating a gloomy but shocking atmosphere.